everyone, it's me, Miss Branch, the art teacher, here with another lesson, lesson 5. And in this lesson, we were learning how water flows down. And we also got to learn about resist in the videos that you were watching. So we're going to make a waterfall showing water coming down. And we're going to learn about values and tints. So we're going to make some dark greens, some dark blues, some light, and we're going to use crayons to resist the paint. So we learned all of that in the video. So let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my cameras. All right. So what we're going to do is make our mountains. And the cool thing about our mountains, our hands make the mountains. So let me go ahead and we're going to use our crayons to draw this. Let me put that there so everybody can see it. And we're going to start with the green crayon. You know, it might be easier. I'm just going to dump them all out so I can find the colors I want. All right, so there we go. I'm going to start with my green crayon. Now, we got your paper horizontal. So side to side. And what we're going to do is just about in the middle, just kind of just draw a green line. So you know where the mountains are and the grass and the water side is going to be. So now over here, not in the very middle, off to the side a little bit, you're going to just lay your hand on your paper. And so I have my 4 fingers right here, and all I'm gonna do is trace around my 4 fingers the part that is above the line. And I'm gonna bring that camera in a little closer so you guys can see. And Miss Branch is left-handed, so I'm tracing my right hand. Now if you're right-handed, of course, trace your left hand. And there's my first mountain. And so now I'm going to do another mountain. I'm going to skip a space because right here in between these 2 mountains is where our waterfall starts. So now I'm going to trace my hand again with this green. All right, so here's my first 2 mountains, and I still have some space over here. Now, one thing that you get to learn about in art is that when things get further away, they get lighter and lighter. So I have now this light green, and I'm gonna put my hand. Now, your hand might be way smaller than mine, so you might be able to put like 3 more mountains or 2 more mountains, but Miss Branch's hand is kind of big, so I'm just gonna put another mountain, but it's kind of, my hand is on top of this one, overlapping it. So I can't trace the whole mountain. So I'm just going to trace the part that starts right here at this mountain. And if it goes off the paper, that's fine too. That also is a art technique where it makes it look like you have more space because parts of the picture go off the paper. And I'm gonna do the same one on this side. And again, this hand is kind of on top of this hand, so I can't draw the whole thing. So I just start where this mountain begins, or the line for it. And there I have my 2 mountains. Then I'm going to switch to my blue. And now I'm going to draw a line across for the top of my waterfall. And now I'm going to draw 2 curved lines. It's like a letter C. So my water's going to curve. Now it could be like an S. If you want to make it like an S. But I'm going to do a curve on this side. And now I'm going to start on this line. I'm going to bring the water. And again, since I kind of did like an S, I'm going to do another one. But you got to make it come from all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom of the paper. Because this is our water, our river flowing. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this crayon and draw some wavy lines. And I'm going to draw these ones coming down so that you can show which way the water is going. Now, I believe we did a resist before. And in our resist, we also used a lot of white crayon because it's fun when these lines pop up after you start adding the paint. Now, at the bottom of the waterfall, the water is usually splashing up and it looks like a little fog, but it's just all this water vapor from splashing. So what I'm going to do down here at this line, I'm going to scribble a lot right here so I can make the waterfall where the water is splashing back up. And as a matter of fact, while I have my white in my hand, I'm going to add in some clouds. So I'm going to just scribble some right here and maybe some right here. And just scribble and keep your scribbles tight. So like not big scribbles like a baby, just do little scribbles. And see, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my sun. And I like to use yellow orange. Oh, that's regular orange. And I sometimes use regular orange. Yellow orange, maybe some yellow, and maybe some red orange. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do with my red orange, I'm gonna make a little circle for the sun. And then I'm gonna color it in with the yellow orange a little bit. Color it in with the yellow around it. And maybe some regular orange. Maybe come back with some more red orange. Now, if you want to put some sun rays, you can. I get it kind of long, but it's fine. And I'm gonna do some with my yellow orange and some yellow. Now, one thing about when you're doing a resist, you got to press down hard with the crayon because it's going to resist the paint. So you got to make it so that it is thick enough that the paint doesn't just go under it. Kind of like in this part right here, I didn't color hard on my sun, so the paint just stayed on there. And I could have colored a little harder on my clouds right here. And that's what happens if you don't kind of press down hard when you're making the resist. So now let me go back to my mountains. Let me get that green again. I'm just going to put some zigzaggy lines on it. Make the mountain look, give it a little character so it's not so flat. I'm going to go back with the light green on this one. And matter of fact, I'm going to use this. I'm going to just draw some lines for grass. So when I paint the grass, you could just see a few little detail lines because the paint will again the wax from the crayons will resist. I'll just go ahead and do some dark greens. And so now I have my picture done. So let me go ahead and clean up all my crayon. And let's see. Do I need any other colors? I did the waterfall, I did some clouds, I did the sun, using all the different oranges. I put some lines on the mountain. I drew some grass. Did I put any white lines down here in this water? I don't remember doing that. So let me do some of that wavy lines, just in case I forgot. It's okay if you do a lot, because it'll be cool. Okay. All right. So I think I'm good to go. So now I can get my painting supplies. And we're going to make some dark greens, some light greens, and some dark blues, and some light blues, because we're going to mix our colors. And let me get my cleaning cloth. I have a new one. And my water. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and start with the greens. Let's do the mountains and the grass. I like to do those first. All right, so I'm gonna rinse off my bristles. And I want my green, this green to be a dark green. Let me make sure everything's in. Let's see. Um, let's see. Hold on, everyone. Let me change the camera orientation. Now let's see if that does it. You see in all my classroom. There we go. Now you can see more of the table. All right. So we're gonna make the dark green first. But to make the dark green, I'm gonna take the yellow to the blue because normally when we're making green, we take some blue to the yellow. But I'm gonna take some yellow, get some yellow with my brush up, and I'm gonna take it over here and put it on the blue. So I'm gonna end up with a darker green than if I brought the blue to the yellow. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint my close mountain. I'm gonna just take my time to stay in the lines. And you see where the wax is, the paint won't stick to the wax. I'll pick up some more and paint this mountain. Oh, wow. You got an even darker green on this one. That's cool. Now I'm going to rinse off my bristles a little bit. And now I'm going to bring some of that dark green over to my yellow and make it a lighter green. And I'm going to paint these other mountains. So now I have a lighter green. So I brought that blue to the yellow. So there was more yellow in the green than blue. Whereas these ones had more blue than yellow. And that's why the greens are darker. And I'm going to bring a little bit more and a little bit more water. And I'm going to go ahead and paint my grass. I think I wanted a little lighter. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. So it's a little different than that one. That one almost looked the same. So there we go. Now it looks a little different. And I'm going to paint my grass. And you can see wherever I drew details for the grass and the wax, they won't stick to the paint. And so now I can rinse off my brush and start working on my waterfall. So the water that's up here, I want that a little darker because it's going to be further away. No, actually, I want this a little lighter than this one because this water is actually further away than this one. So I'm just going to go ahead, and before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and rinse. Let me move this out the way so I can rinse off my cleaning cup. Got a new one. And I'm going to clean off this green off my blue and the blue green off my yellow first before I forget, and then it starts setting. I'm going to dip it in the water and squeeze out the extra and just wipe it. And then rinse it off in the water and squeeze out the extra. And then I'm just going to come wipe it. And then I'm going to rinse it off in the water. As you see, I'm rinsing it off in the water and then squeezing. So now I want the blue down here a little darker. So I'm going to just make that straight blue. And this one, I will add some white to the blue to make actually I'm going to add white to the blue to make the sky lighter. But I'm going to just add a little bit. So let's see, I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit blue. And I'm going to just paint the water. And you can see all my waves in the water. And I want this just a little bit lighter for the waterfall part. So I'm going to rinse off my bristles. And I'm going to pick up some white. I don't want it very light yet. So now I'm going to add that white to this blue. And now I can make my waterfall that comes down. So this blue is a little lighter. And now I need to do my sky, which I want it lighter than this blue. So I'm going to take this light blue that I already have on my bristles, and I'm going to add it to this white and make it even lighter. So now I can paint my sky. I'm going to paint around my mountains, but you see I put some clouds up here. And I can paint over top of the sun. Because if I put it on thick enough that it won't stick to the sun too much. And I have a cloud there, and then this little blue. So I made my tints of blue, and that's when you add white to the color. And then when you want something darker, you're gonna add the more darker color. Because you don't always have to just mix black and white to make a color darker. You can just mix the colors that you make it, but add more. Like when I did these, I had more blue. When I did these, I had more yellow. So that's why that was different. And then I kind of balanced it out with the grass. And then for the water, I just went straight blue, the hue of blue, and then I added a little bit of white to the blue, as you can still see because I got to clean this up. And then for the sky, I added a little teeny bit of blue to the white. So now let me go ahead, since it's already rinsed off, I'll start with the white one. And I'm going to rinse that off. And squeeze. And then I'm going to clean that one blue up. And then rinse it off. And squeeze out the extra water. And matter of fact, I'm just going to put my cloth right here on the extra part of my water basin. And now we did a waterfall. So we were learning about, oh, let me switch cameras before I tried to switch the picture. So we did a waterfall. We know that water runs down from the videos that we watched, and we learned how to make some colors lighter by adding white paint, and we learned how to make some colors darker. We didn't have to go straight to black. We learned that we can mix more of the darker color with it to make it some areas darker, and more of the lighter color to make things lighter when we did all our greens. So we have a waterfall landscape, and we're done with lesson number 5. I will see you guys in the next video.